Welcome to the Green Nurse Podcast, where we bring hope and inspiration for growth and healing. We're here to change the dialogue and stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. It's okay to feel good, people. Everyone deserves to feel good, and so do you. Green Nurse Podcast, Clinical Conversations Webcast came about when Nurse Elisabeth and I merged our companies, Holistic Caring and the Green Nurse, alongside of Bloom Hemp, creating Holistic Caring Network. Clinical Conversations explores all aspects of how to optimize cannabis as medicine. People are making great medicines. People are selling these amazing plant formulations, yet no one is truly interpreting how to use cannabis as medicine. That's what we do. So last month in our October newsletter, we introduced you to Nurse Katie McCarthy, who you will see a lot more of on the Green Nurse Podcast, as she's going to be launching her own show on our network called Meant for Chaos. Today, Katie brings her expertise to us on nutraceuticals and supplements that interact with the endocannabinoid system and the endocannabinoid dome, which may benefit patients who are using cannabis as medicine. But before we get started on that presentation, we have a message from today's sponsor. Elisabeth, who's our sponsor today?
Well, Bloom Hemp. So Bloom Hemp is a woman and nurse-owned national CBD supplier, leading with safety, value, quality, patient-centered care, and innovation. Bloom Hemp products are USDA organic CBD, grown in the mountains of Colorado and tested for potency, purity, and cannabinoid profiles, which are very rich and complex in almost every product. Bloom Hemp is also proud to offer a nurse line because every patient needs a nurse. So call the nurse line at 970-404-HOPE and ask us any of your questions about CBD and how this might work for you. And also, you can use the coupon Green Nurse for 10% off.
There you go.
There you go. That's our sponsor. Thank you, Bloom Hemp.
Bloom Hemp, we love you. Thank you so much for helping all patients bloom in health. So now it is time for Nurse Katie to present and introduce herself to everyone as one of our amazing cannabis nurse supervisors, Meant for Chaos. Katie McCarthy, you're on.
Take it away.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here, Sherri and Elisabeth. Thank you for having me. Today, we're going to talk about the endocannabinoid system. Before I dive into that big giant word that we just shared with all of you, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Katie McCarthy. I'm a registered nurse, a cannabis health coach, a Reiki master, and a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I've been a nurse for 12 years. I stepped away from traditional nursing back in 2020. There's a long story that goes along with that, so sometime you'll have to ask me about it, not today. But I stepped into integrative health and started using cannabis on my own for my own anxious symptoms. I was suffering from postpartum anxiety for much longer than I should have before I introduced myself to the world of CBD, meditation, and yoga. Those 3 tools in my wellness toolbox led me into a whole new learning of holistic care. And that's what led me to meet Elisabeth and Sherri. And over the past 3 years, I've really dove into this integrative space, and I have a lot of knowledge that I would love to share with all of you today. So without further ado, we will get into the endocannabinoid system. So, what is the endocannabinoid system? That's one of the first questions we're going to answer for you today. What is the endocannabinoid dome? What are nutraceuticals, and how can we nourish our endocannabinoid system? What supplements should we be using to do that? So the endocannabinoid system is our master regulatory system. All mammals have an endocannabinoid system. So you walk around with this system that is your cell signaling system for all of your body systems, your skin, your skeletals, your muscles, your nervous system, et cetera, et cetera. As you can see on this slide, all of our body systems are interconnected and talk to each other. And when our body's in a state of homeostasis, when our ECS puts us into this state of balance, the cell signaling works better and you experience a myriad of benefits. So we have CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors. that are just waiting around in there for cannabinoids to attach and flick them on like a light switch. So let me give you a little analogy of how that works. I want you to picture your endocannabinoid system as the conductor of an orchestra. And you're conducting this orchestra, but all of the seats are empty. And so your seats are your CB1 and CB2 receptors that are just waiting to be filled up. So the conductor says, hey, I'm depleted. I'm experiencing some imbalances, maybe it's stress, maybe it's sleeplessness, et cetera, but for whatever reason, your body has a depletion of cannabinoids. So your endocannabinoid dome kicks in and it starts to release endocannabinoids. So endocannabinoids are cannabinoids that are produced from our bodies. They're called anandamides. These are the musicians. These are who fill those seats. The musicians start to take their place, and as it starts to fill up, the conductor is able to help with the signaling, getting everyone on the right page, and then the orchestra begins to harmonize. That synchronized sound represents homeostasis. So when your ECS reaches that state of homeostasis, once all of these seats are filled up, it allows your organ systems to be in a state of balance and promote your overall well-being.
Never heard the orchestra before. I love it.
So yeah, there's a lot of different analogies for the endocannabinoid system. This is one of my favorites. I think it's such a great demonstration of how we need to take a daily dose of cannabinoids like a supplement, like a vitamin. You take a daily dose and it finds the seat that needs it. And then once they're all filled up, that's when you start to notice the benefit. Taking one dose here and there of a CBD product, you're really not going to notice the benefit. It takes consistency and a cumulative effect. So there's other ways to support your endocannabinoid dome. There's a lot of different ways how we can get these receptors ready to receive cannabinoids and how we can help stimulate the production of endocannabinoids. Regular exercise is one, a balanced diet, your food, your gut. Your gut is your second brain. And we really need to start as a society to treat our gut a little bit better. It's a long journey. I know for myself personally, it's probably the part I struggle with the most, but a balanced diet is going to affect your endocannabinoid system. Stress management. The reason we get depleted is when we experience stress. So if you can learn how to cope with stress management, it's going to be really beneficial. Sleep hygiene, promoting a regular sleep cycle. That is another way that we are going to be able to support your endocannabinoid system. Nutraceuticals, that's what we're really here to talk about today. Supplements. There's other supplements that you can be taking to have a better cannabinoid experience if you're someone who's looking to use phytocannabinoids to supplement for your endocannabinoid system. So what is a nutraceutical? I think you knew what all those other numbers are, but what is a nutraceutical? They're products that come from natural sources. So they come from plants or food, and their health benefits go beyond basic nutrition. We often consume them as supplements. So these are your vitamins that most of us start to take a daily multivitamin, or maybe you have a more specific vitamin combination that you take. How do they work though? Well, using the appropriate vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and bioactive substances will have a very positive physiological impact on your endocannabinoid dome. So one of the ones that we recommend for all of you to be taking alongside your CBD is a probiotic. Again, our gut, so important. The use of probiotics helps support the endocannabinoid system because it promotes balance in your gut microbiome. The beneficial bacteria that aids in digestion and nutrient absorption leads to an overall better gut health. And with that healthy gut microbiome, it enhances the production and utilization of your endocannabinoids. So if you have a healthy gut, they're going to work better. Omega-3s. Omega-3 fatty acids are so good for so many reasons, but today we're talking about the endocannabinoid system, And the reason they're good for the endocannabinoid system is because omega-3s are actually the precursors to endocannabinoids. These essential fatty acids help regulate cannabinoid receptors and help promote the synthesis of endocannabinoids. So they're essential to the functioning of your ECS. Turmeric. Turmeric supplements contain active compounds such as curcumin, and they have the potential for cannabinoid receptor modulation properties. These compounds might interact with cannabinoid receptors indirectly. There's still so much to learn here, but we do know that turmeric leads to an improved endocannabinoid signaling. So if you are not using turmeric, but you want to have good signaling to all those body systems, you should start. Echinacea. Echinacea is known for its anti-inflammatory properties. Decreased inflammation is also something that's going to help support your endocannabinoid system. When we have less inflammation, we have more balance and a better functional system. Inflammation can negatively impact the production and regulation of endocannabinoids and their receptors, which would lead to more imbalance in the body. And our goal is balance, baby. And phycocyanin. So phycocyanin shows various pharmacological effects. It has anti-inflammatory property, anti-proliferative property, neuroprotective, and liver protective property. And that's so important because when we're breaking things down, we need to be able to have a healthy liver. We need to have our neural pathways protected so they can deliver signals properly. This is a really great supplement to be taking alongside your CBD journey. And then pentadecanoic acid. This is a natural saturated fatty acid. It's also been found to support the endocannabinoid system by activating cannabinoid receptors, specifically CB1 receptors. So this combination of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, nutraceuticals, if you're taking a supplement, a group of supplements, these would be the ones that are really going to help give you the most bang for your buck when you're using CBD for your ECS. So how and why do we purchase them? Where do we purchase them from?
Somewhere good.
Somewhere good.
Somewhere good.
So we have done all of the legwork for you. By using our FullScript platform, we are offering patients healthcare's best supplements. Every supplement that is on this FullScript platform has been vetted by pharmacists and healthcare professionals. They take the safest, highest quality products, and they allow us to utilize them to create protocols for all of you. So as practitioners, what we've done is we've taken an endocannabinoid protocol and we've built it with all of these supplements that I mentioned today. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to scan this code. It'll bring you into the FullScript dispensary, and you can see a supplement that will have explanations of each vitamin, how often you should take it, how many you should take, the dose, and one-stop shop. You can click the button and check out with all of the supplements that you need for your endocannabinoid support. And then don't forget your CBD. So none of this is possible without those cannabinoids, right? And like we said, endocannabinoids are produced by the body. So endo means from the body. Women produce endocannabinoids in their breast milk. Endocannabinoids are produced when we do things like meditation and slow breath exercises, things like that, physical activity. But don't forget that you can also utilize phytocannabinoids, and phytocannabinoids come from the plant. So when you're using a phytocannabinoid, you're using CBD, and you're taking that like a daily dose, just like a vitamin. And that's why this all goes together, because you need your vitamins and you need your CBD to all support your endocannabinoid system. So if you take anything away from today, remember, endo comes from the body and phyto comes from the plant. And we don't produce enough endocannabinoids for our system to work the way that it can. So take your daily CBD, get in touch with Bloom Hemp, our sponsor. And the best part about Bloom Hemp is that bloomhemp.com, when you're a client or a customer there, you get a free nurse care plan. So you're not just buying a product and wondering, what the heck am I going to do with this? You're going to have a nurse care plan that will guide you, a free nurse line that you can call for support, share what you're going through, what your goals are, and you'll be able to receive not only the CBD, but also the protocol for vitamins that would also help. So, ladies, any questions before we?
Well,
Yeah, we wrap up.
I have some questions.
Yeah.
So
We'll put this up and let's remove this and let's just talk a little bit.
yeah. So how do you know, like, of course, in our neck of the woods, everybody starts with CBD. How do you know when you need to add supplements like some of these other ones? And then which ones would you add first, or you just add all of them? And then that's one question. And then have you ever had anybody on all of the supplements without the CBD, then they add CBD and everything starts working better?
So I would say that I always start with CBD first. Yeah. And I think that's only because in my personal experiences, I dove into the CBD world long before I learned about the vitamin world. And I had immense benefits after a month of using just CBD without the vitamins. So I think that people are going to notice a benefit by implementing phytocannabinoids to help heal their depleted system. I think once they get into a regimen and we talk about, okay, do we need to take, one of the things that blows my mind about CBD is that when we talk about pharmaceuticals and we talk about medicine, you think you take it on a daily basis and your body gets used to it and it kind of changes the mechanism of action of your body. And so then our needs are higher. So then we have to increase our dose and the dose goes up. So then we're increasing the dosage of the medication. And the more you increase the dosage of medications, the more likely you are to experience side effects of medications. And what I love about the endocannabinoid system and what I think is so important about the endocannabinoid system is that once it's full, it's full. And you actually have to stop and take a break and let it deplete a little bit. And once it starts to deplete a little bit, then you start low and slow and creep back up. And what does that do? It makes us check in with ourselves. It makes us stop and say, I need to grade myself on how is this working on a scale from 0 to 10. How am I sleeping this week? I'm sleeping a 10. I'm sleeping a 10. I'm sleeping a 10. Okay, you've gone 5 days in a row and you're sleeping a 10. Lower your dose. You don't need to take that full dose anymore. And I think that that is very special because making us stop to check in with ourselves, letting that system deplete a little bit, it gives us the opportunity to then say, okay, what vitamins can I throw in here? What vitamins can help support so that I'm not flooding my ECS with cannabinoids?
Yeah. And on the dosing thing, one of the things that as you were speaking, I was thinking about how with phytocannabinoids, CBD in particular, you can't take too much. You can't take too much and be harmed. You'll just go to sleep, right? You'll just be really dopey and go to sleep, but you'll be just fine.
Yeah. And in particular, you know, in a lot of patients too, how the same, we introduce CBD, start with CBD, we add a little THC, and then we tweak with the nutraceuticals. A lot of times, right? This is all about microdosing. Microdosing, like we don't eat an entire pizza, we have a couple pieces. We don't have a pot of coffee. Same thing when it comes to all of these different things, and tweaking the care plan with supplements actually enhances the therapeutic potential, keeps the dosing of cannabinoids low, and you have an overall balanced approach. So the endocannabinoid dome is the endocannabinoid system, the lipid dome, the microbiome, and all of the hormonal signaling system. So if you think about, you know, the cannabinoids, full spectrum, whole plant cannabinoids, that big blanket, right? The THC to nuance the CB1 receptors. CBD is the main, and then the supplements to enhance, to allow to decrease the amount of phytocannabinoids. That's what I have found, supplements in particular that have helped me with, is to keeping my THC doses low and keeping my system balanced. And in particular, echinacea, I found very particular, actually activates CB2 receptors at half the strength of THC. That's pretty Fascinating.
Yeah,
Right?
and I didn't realize echinacea was such a powerful anti-inflammatory. I've heard about it for colds and flus and boosting your immune system, but how does it boost your immune system? How does it regulate the inflammatory response and some of the other cytokines and other receptor targets within the immune system?
Yeah. So I do love nutraceuticals in the effect that it can enhance, it can help decrease the amount of phytocannabinoids that a person needs, because you're actually nudging multiple different receptor sites in multiple different systems, all for the same reason of doing what? Relieving suffering and improving quality of life.
And also the economics, because if somebody is working, say, without a nurse, right, like without one of us, they might take a couple 100 milligrams of CBD and think that they need that much. Yeah. Whereas we're going to look at that and say, okay, 40 milligrams twice a day is a really great start. Now let's look at what else we can add, and what are your goals and objectives, and how do we dial that in with these other supplements? So we add another couple of those, and now the CBD works better, everything else is balanced, and they're not spending a fortune.
Yeah, absolutely. So Katie, tell us about some of the patients that you've worked with nutraceuticals and CBD. How about a couple case studies? You have any good ones for us?
Let's see. I'm going to start with, I have a 44-year-old male client of mine, suffered from panic and anxiety disorder, age 15 to age 41. He was on just a PRN dose of Xanax here and there, hated how it made him feel, really didn't enjoy taking it. And the year that I started working with him, he had suffered from multiple panic attacks. One of them had him in the emergency room. And they were looking at different anti-anxiety agents that he could take on a daily basis as a maintenance. And again, he really didn't want to go that route. And so he started to look at lifestyle habits and what he could do to support his stress management. And I suggested, why don't we try CBD? And at first he was a little standoffish about it. And, I'm never pushy. I just educate. Love to educate people, give them the knowledge to then go do their own research. And I know that when they're comfortable, they'll come back to ask more questions. That's exactly what happened with this client. So came back to ask some more questions. I got him started we started with a 12.5 dose of full spectrum tincture in the morning and a 12.5 dose full spectrum tincture in the evening. And in just 2 weeks' time, after about 2 weeks, he came in and he started telling a story about his day. And typically this story would have come with a lot of frustration, a lot of tense body language, really panicky. And he was just telling the story about an awful day with ease. And I was like, what's different here? What's going on? And we evaluated it. And it was the only thing that he had changed in that 2 week time were those doses of full spectrum tincture. And so from there, we continued on this CBD journey. And he did get to a point where he thought it wasn't working anymore. And that's when we took a little break. He had increased his dose. I think he was doing 25 a.m., 25 p.m. And I said, you might not need to be hitting that target. Let's see if we can decrease a little bit. We did a 3-day pause. And that's when we started introducing some vitamins. We did echinacea, turmeric, and I think that was it that we started with. And so from there, he restarted his CBD. So he started back at that 12.5 that he had initially started with. And we found that was his baseline, that 12.5 a.m. and 12.5 p.m. of the full spectrum tincture was really all he needed. And then if he needed to add some THC, we would go up on higher doses when he was in a situation where he was going to experience more social anxiety, or maybe he was going to be in a situation where he had some pain management to deal with, like after recovery from athletic performance. So those were times where he'd go to the gym and maybe he'd increase his dose that night because he tweaked something. And that was when we introduced the THC. But overall, that case study was one that really significantly made an impact. He's 3 years and he has not touched a pharmaceutical for his anxiety.
Well, speaking of pharmaceuticals, I'm just going to have to bring it up because I put something in the comment section about drug muggers. So one of the things when we are studying and teaching on the endocannabinoid system, I am not anti-pharma.
No.
However, what people don't understand is certain pharmaceuticals can deplete your body of nutrients, or you may not absorb those particular nutrients unless you're eating an awful lot of those foods or supplementing. A lot of those medications that do that are psychiatric medications in particular. And in particular, psychiatric medications tend to deplete our body of B vitamins. And B vitamins are crucial. B vitamins bathe the central nervous system. So when we are feeling anxious, right, B vitamins can help calm us down. And when we're feeling tired, B vitamins can help perk us up. So it's the biphasic nature of it. So it's really, really important. And in regards to pharmaceuticals in general, with working with a lot of patients, that's what we'll look at. What pharmaceuticals are you taking? What nutrients might you not be getting? Right? And to have a look at that as well in nuancing how we work with patients.
Yeah, and from a health policy standpoint, which is always my realm, I love listening to this discussion, because if this gentleman walks into his doctor, he's going to get Buspar, he's going to get Wellbutrin, he's going to get Zoloft, he's going to get Paxil, he's going to get any of these things. And is that bringing him closer to health? No. But with the echinacea, the turmeric, and the CBD, is that bringing him closer to health? Yes. Right. It's not mugging his nutritional system. It's helping him. It's balancing him throughout the entire body. And talk about the side benefits of CBD, right? You take it for anxiety. Guess what? My shoulder's better. Right. My knees don't hurt as much. I can walk a little bit further. I am sleeping better. All of these, I have a lower stress response. I'm more calm. I have more grounding, more centeredness. And that is what you can take to the bank, because it might cost a little bit more to go this route, right? We know that these pills are $20 copays and whatever, and CBD's $75 for a good bottle, and a couple of supplements is another $75. But that is going to give you real health, right? And so that's the other part where you have to counsel patients on that cost benefit analysis.
And also having the agency, right? There is something so satisfying to be able to take care of yourself. And to understand your smart body. We all have very, very smart, intelligent bodies that when we give it the proper tools, it's going to do us good.
Yeah. And especially anxiety and depression. Think about a 40-year-old man. He doesn't want to have, right? A sexual response that doesn't work.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of the medications have that as a side effect, which is another reason why I have a few clients in that general age group, and I would say all of them, that's their biggest concern about going on an antipsychotic or an antidepressant, is that they don't want it to, but then so does depression, right? So it's all about finding that balance, which is why introducing things like, even just nutrition and fitness. I mean, those are things that when you go to the doctor, you're not always asked what your lifestyle looks like, right? Like, we don't look at the person as a whole person. And these days the appointments are so fast, and we read what the symptoms are, and then we're like, okay, they have this, let's treat it with this. And that's kind of the way it goes. But for a lot of people, if we stopped and said, what are you eating? What are you getting? Sunlight? Are you grounding yourself on a daily basis? Are you getting physical activity? Are you managing your stress with slow breathing exercises? Because guess what? We all have the ability to do that. We all have the ability to decompress with breath work. And those are the things that once I dove into this world of holistic care, I was like, everybody has the ability to harness their bodies as they are and have better outcomes. And maybe we still need some pharmaceutical assistance. Again, like you said, I'm not opposed to Western traditional medicine. I'm all for balancing both worlds. But I think that if people meant for chaos, as we said at the beginning, chaos is my acronym for 5 personal development habits that got me out of a really dark place. And it's everything we're talking about. It's clearing your mind. It's healing with hemp. It's power of a positive mindset through affirmations. It's organizing your thoughts, and it's setting boundaries for yourself and knowing where do you draw your attention. And I've been lucky enough to draw my attention to this world of knowledge in nutraceuticals and cannabinoids, because diving into this with you guys in these clinical conversations, it brings about a whole opportunity to help others that is really special.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, now it's just a matter of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? We have to get people to say, I want to take this option. I want to make myself the best self I can be. And and on the pharmaceuticals, I was taking 2,400 milligrams of Motrin a day. Now I take 200 milligrams a day. I do still take a Motrin every night, but I don't take 8 of them every day, right? And that's yeah. And the high blood pressure is relieved. Yeah, the GERD is relieved. All of the other side effects from those Motrins. And exercise is motion is the lotion, right? So not only I have 3 shoulder surgeries. Orthopedics has been a problem, but same thing with anxiety and depression. Moving, getting that sunlight, those natural measures. It's free. Go out, take a walk in the sun every day. Watch the sunset when you get home from work. You can do that.
And grounding too. Yeah. Grounding, can't say enough about it. There is clinical evidence that supports physiological changes in working. And we've been taking care of a lot of kids lately, a lot of pediatric patients that have come in with ADHD and behavioral disorders, and literally looking at nutrition and the simple things is going outside. You think about grounding, right? We're wearing shoes all the time.
Oh, earthing.
So,
yeah, we watched a movie called Earthing, and literally because the soul, we are meant to touch the earth and to connect with the earth and to sort of recharge and rebalance from the earth. And I didn't even know this until I watched this movie, but the earth, standing on the earth in your bare feet, touching it with your hands, it can help repolarize you almost, right?
And they have radiographic imaging studies to show inflammation actually going away, showing a person before and after 30 minutes of grounding.
5 minutes a day.
Yeah,
walk in the grass 5 minutes a day.
Yeah,
and then do some tracking. And that's the other thing, tracking. And you want to talk about tracking, because I know you're big on it.
Yeah, well, I also want to talk about grounding a little bit, just because, as you know, I'm a Reiki master and I have a home Reiki studio, and I know you are too, Sherri. And whenever I have clients come in, and I always go over at the end, I have them journal for 10 minutes. And while they're journaling, I make some notes for them about what I've recognized during their session. And anytime I have someone where I see that I've had to work on their root chakra, I don't care how crazy I sound, I tell them, I want you to go outside tonight in bare feet and just stand in the grass, or go to the beach, stand in the sand, put your feet in the water, wherever it is that you want to go. I want you to stand outside barefoot and ground yourself. And it can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes, it can be a full hour if that's what you need, but just stand and be one with nature, because it really does have such a huge benefit on not only our mind and body, but as our spirit as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And someone wrote in the comment sections, there are grounding mats available if mobility is limited. Yes, there are. And we've actually looked into those, and they have affiliate programs as well. So you can actually buy grounding mats for the bed. You can buy yoga mats. You can buy a grounding plate to put your feet on while you work, and it can be plugged right in, and it has the same benefits. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that, for reminding them. We'll put a comment. I don't have that link available, but when at post show, I'll put a link to grounding.
We should put those in the show.
Yeah. Put them in the show. Yeah.
Because I believe in all of this, and it really does. It takes a philosophical shift to walk away from how tethered we are to acute care and to the conventional system, because you have to have agency to take care of yourself. You have to want to learn these techniques and tips, and then to practice them and say, what do you keep? What do you toss out? What do you add? What do you remove? And that is a huge part of it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the network. We have a network, everybody, y'all. It's all network. Holistic Caring Network, and it is free. Right? So if you have your phone, you're watching on a computer, you can scan it, hop right into the network. So in the network, it's free, and it's run by nurses and our pharmacists. We have a free introductory to cannabis course, free support group, webinars, podcasts, community, and connection. And actually this week in the network, we are going to be doing this Thursday. It's the fourth Thursday of the month. free plant medicine support group for those that are new to cannabis or psychedelics that want education, information, support, and integration. So we teach integration, and integration is really all about lifestyle. So we give you tips, tricks, hugs, and nugs right within the network to help you to get information that you need to start living your best life.
Yeah, and the network it's kind of like a Facebook for plant medicine. All of the courses and programs that we've written are in the network. So there's a free intro course, but if you're a healthcare professional, you can take our Cannabis Health Coach certification program and become a coach and work with people on learning how to do this. And I wrote the program. It's going to be relaunched very soon for 30 continuing education units for nurses. And it's a blockbuster program of all the fundamentals of cannabis therapeutics as a medicine. What are cannabinoids and terpenes and the routes of administration? And then what are the different conditions that are best suited for it, all of them. And then, what are the scope and standards? How do we put this into our business? And then the business fundamentals. How do I start my own coaching business if I've been a nurse in the hospital for 20 years? How do I do this? Part 2 of my professional career. And that's what we do. So as well as a mastermind every month to help you dial in the clinical and the business development on your own. And we have a coupon, Nurse 25, gets you 25% off any program, even the patient program. So if you happen to be struggling with oncology issues or autoimmune issues, you can buy one of those programs, put in Nurse 25, you get 25% off. And then come in the network, come to the groups, come to the support group, interact with us, let us know what you need. We'd love to help and get you reoriented with the good nursing leadership that we have here on this team.
Yeah. And then, of course, shop Bloom Hemp.
We
love Bloom.
It all starts with Bloom.
All starts with Bloom, blooming in health, free care plan, free nurse line, USDA certified organic, certificate of analysis, symptom targeted formulas. We've got 2 new products that are being launched next week. Trilogy, which is 3,000 milligrams of CBD, CBG, CBN, beta caryophyllene, astragalus, oregano oil, and cinnamon. This
all
is
CB2 activation.
All CB2 activation. Amazing. And then another
Focus
Focus
is coming out. CBD, CBG, and THCV. So
And
steady
mushrooms.
energy all day long, as well as reduced appetite. Yeah, and lion's mane, reishi, and yerba mate, which is another plant medicine that helps for all day sustainable energy and a little bit of appetite suppression, because we know metabolic syndrome is a real issue in this country. People are taking these injections once a week, try THCV first. THCV before the injections, Ozempic and Wegovy and all of these GLP-1 inhibitors. And, everybody wants that shortcut. So try plant medicine shortcuts first before you start on some of these $1,000 a month regimes.
And guess who just opened up her schedule for consultations? We have Katie McCarthy in the house, cannabis health coach. Book an appointment right on the website, holisticcaring.com. If you have your phone, you can just scan right there and you'll go right to Katie's booking page. Good stuff.
That's right.
Perfect.
Happy to be a part of this beautiful mission to just help people understand how to use plant medicine.
Yeah, good stuff.
And we're taking from pediatrics to geriatrics. We're gonna reshape America with plant medicine.
Yeah. So this has been an amazing podcast. Katie, so grateful to have you on. Watch out for Katie. She is going to be on the Green Nurse podcast launching Meant for Chaos. And she'll be taking interviews as well. She'll be reaching out to people. So if anyone is interested in coming on Katie's podcast, you can fill out one of our podcast forms as well. And Nurse Katie would be happy to interview you. Mm-hmm. And what I forgot to do is I forgot to show what we do in the cannabis space as nurses at the beginning.
We're going to have a little video.
So we're just going to wrap up with a little video about what we do in the space as nurses.
Thank you. It's the paradigm of healthcare.
The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I'm the founder of Holistic Caring. We're based here in California, and we do educational programs and case management for patients on how to use cannabis therapeutically as a medicine.
We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high, hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing.
As the founder of Holistic Caring, I basically oversee the whole ship, and what we're doing is progressive education.
Cannabis actually supports all 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all the neurotransmitter signaling systems that give messages to tell our body to either do something or not do something. Because the plant was prohibited, it prevented health professionals, doctors and nurses from learning about cannabis as medicine.
I want to change the paradigm of healthcare, and us paving the way into a new vanguard of medicine.
It's about education, it's about empowerment, it's about teaching people how to feel good, bridging the gap from what they're not getting from traditional medicine, utilizing different plant medicines, adaptogens, tips, tricks, hugs, and nugs of information to support and nourish the most important system in our body.
And it's a lot of soul work, a lot of love, a lot of discipline, and meditation. I'm using my life work as a testimony to others to learn how they can be their own hero and then go help heal the world.
And we are, as nurses, the game changers.
Oh, there you go. Growing in health, growing in cannabis. And that is a wrap, folks. Thank you all so much for joining us. And remember what it's all about. It is truly about living your best life and helping others do the same. Join us in the network for psychedelics. And join us on Thursday. I'm going to be doing a live with Jennifer Bozer of Cannabama, Alabama. Courage and
CBD.
Cannabis. So join us on Thursday for that live broadcast as well. And it is all about living your best life and helping others do the same. Thank you for joining us.
God bless.